Cool. Welcome. We told y'all. Instagram Live for episode 7. Big episode. Welcome to the Be Real, live from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome to it. So, today's episode, we're talking about connection. Big thing. So, Wednesday, we're here. So, you got yourself RVA Bay.
What up, Ev?
What up, Ev? We're here in the flesh. Talking. So, big thing, connection, right? That like goes into everything, little things here and there, and like our biggest thing with this is interaction as a whole. So like just the way people interact from day to day, like everybody connects for a reason. Like, you know, we're all here, like we became friends for a reason. The people that are on the timeline, they're friends for a reason. It's like, it's a big thing and it's often overlooked. And you know, that's what we're kind of going to dive into here, the different realms that kind of plays into. Anything you want to add in there?
Hey man, let's dive into it.
Dope. All right, so the biggest thing is, for me, like with this, so the way people connect's really different now. Like, we're in such a world where like people are so comparative. Is that a word? Comparative?
Yeah.
Where they're just too quick to compare themselves to other things that they kind of like don't give people the time of day. And it's like, why? Because that's something that they could offer you for, you know, you don't even know what that is. And like the biggest thing for me, you know, like I kind of see bits and spurts of it that, you know, it gives me some type of hope in the matter, is when people like kind of go in with a more open mind and people start to connect in different realms, like the simple, like, hey, how are you? Like just simple conversation. And like one thing I reflect on is being a kid and being young and how like I made a majority of my friends. Because we were both in a time where like we're between two different eras. We're between the technological era and then like the super tech era. You know, we kind of saw like the brick phones come out. We saw the razors, all that. But like my biggest social network was being outside. And like when I was punished and I couldn't go outside, like that was devastating, bro, because that's where I met the majority of my friends. That's where I hung out. Like I lived in majority cul-de-sacs in my life, and like that's what we had. Like we had our own little community there, and like not being able to go outside and connect with people or the world itself, like that just threw me off completely. And that's just common interaction. And like in that time growing up in a cul-de-sac, I explored so much of my neighborhood just going out and meeting new people. And I meet the people that live behind me, that live like 5 minutes down the road. I run my bike to their house, and it's just like, that was the network. Like that's what that was. And it's so cool. But now it's like, how many followers you got? Or like, I see you don't really look that flashy, I don't want to fuck with you. And it's just like, damn, okay, all right. But like, that's just the biggest thing. I see bits and spurts of that, like that childhood energy of people connecting and finding common ground, and like that excites me, but it's never enough that I'm like, oh, it's gonna come back around, because I see so much more of the artificial bullshit. Like people just are too quick to judge you at a first glance versus actually getting to know you. And like I know for me personally, 1, I'm partially monotone. 2, I talk sarcastic as fuck like a majority of the time. So even when I'm like being sincere and genuine, no one can really tell if I'm being sincere or genuine. They're like, you being sarcastic? You being real right now? But like once you get to know me, understand how I talk, like then it makes more sense. And like that's why we're in a world of like misconception of text. Like people take you out of context so many times. Like I'm one of the worst texters, bro. Like people read my shit, they're like, huh? What, is he trying to fight me right now? And like, what's going on here? But it's like, I don't know. I'm still hopeful for it, but like that's like a big thing that sticks out to me, is just that childlike innocence on how we used to network as kids. And I think that's why our age, between 90 and mid 94, the true 90 babies, no disrespect to the rest of y'all, but the true 90 babies, mid 94.
Why you say that?
Because everybody else is tapped. They got too much going on. They had iPhones, they had razors, sidekicks, all that. So true 90 babies, y'all still cool, but true 90 babies, mid 94, maybe late 94, I don't know. Come talk to me, we'll figure it out. Got a quiz for you.
Not just 95.
But it's a rare few. There's rare few 95 that can do it.
Bro, I think it all depends on the area you grow up into. Like I was thinking about this, like when I went to Chicago to visit over last summer, I was like, yo, it would have been crazy growing up in a city like this. Like New York, can you imagine just growing up? Like I grew up where you had yards, you had
Right.
forests, you had a whole bunch of shit that you could just run off to. Like I couldn't imagine. Like that has got to change your perspective so much growing up in a city like that. And
Not at all.
going into what you said though, like you were like that's what you said when you met your best friends, some of your best friends. Like you have to give people a chance. Like
Right.
everybody deserves that chance, man. That's why I've always tried to be open minded and talk to anybody. Like yeah, there's people that you just don't really vibe with, but you gotta at least give them a shot before you can feel that out.
Right. True. And that's there's only one way to do it is just by talking to them. Like it might turn out that you talk to them, you don't really fuck with them, and at that point you know.
Mm.
But like just based off like, hey, I don't like the way you look, like that's stupid. And like it's just such an artificial world, man. It's tapped. I don't like it. But connection's big in every aspect, every role that we play.
And all different levels of connection,
Right.
family connection, friends connection, and then relationships and like
Right.
whatever business partners or whatever it is. But like connection, to foster those connections is very important too, man. Like
Right.
to water those relationships, I think that's highly important. There are some friends, like there was times like when you were still living in Virginia, like we wouldn't talk for months,
Mhm.
but when we did talk, then it was like a meaningful conversation, like something that benefited us both. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It was of substance and it was
Yeah.
real, very authentic, like legit. But that's real. Now it's like through what, like 18 hours of distance at that point, that we still kept that connection alive. Just because-
So that's my question too. Is like you said, like text conversations. I hate it too because texts get misconstrued all the time.
So
But-
texting.
Technology, is it good or bad for communication and connection and
I mean,
overall?
it
You hear a
has-
lot that is making the world more isolated,
Right.
even though we're now more connected more than ever.
Right, but we're connected in the wrong sense. Like we're connected to the wrong things. Like
But you might be able to have deeper connections with somebody across the world, like somebody that you would never ever really have the chance to meet, but
Right.
you're more connected to them.
true.
Or somebody at a school that's getting picked on and bullied, like they got a whole community online that they can mess with. I don't know.
I mean, it's tough. It's a
To-
lot.
To me, I don't think there's nothing that's good. There's nothing that's bad. It's how it's used.
Right, if you utilize it the right way. Utilization is key. But I mean, we're just like everything that what we see a majority of is that comparison lifestyle, like connecting in this, that, the other, like
Wait, how are you relating connection and comparison?
and the fact that like when it comes to seeing someone face to face in person, they're basing it like what they see from their handheld, and they see that you're not that, and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna spend my time.
So instead of comparison, I would say judging.
Same thing, essentially, to a point, to an extent, yeah, same thing, right?
Judgment is harsh, man. You don't want nobody to judge you. Like I know
Right.
I don't like being misunderstood or judged before somebody gets to know me. Like
Right.
so, why would I choose to do that to somebody else? And yeah, appearance is number one, man. That's the first thing that you see is like, well, damn, is this the type of person that I want to be around? But really, it takes getting to know somebody and interacting with them.
True. So what this is coming down to is just be your fucking self, right? Like, don't be afraid to be your fucking self. Like, connect with people, talk to people, make those interactions. Like, do those little things to reach out to people. Like, even if you think they have nothing for you, just show time that, you're interested. Like, you care. They got nice shoes, tell them they got nice shoes. Like, something like that. Like, just little things, because these little interactions we have as people together, like, you see that? Crazy. Crazy. Like, those are big. Even if it's not big on your end, it could be the highlight of their fucking day. And, and as creatures, as humans that we are, we got to connect. Like, that's what we're meant to do. We're not meant to do this thing alone. Like, no, we're not. That's not who we are as creatures.
Tribal creatures.
100%.
Find your tribe. Your energy will bring that too. Like your energy announces you before you walk in. So like, if you bring this fake energy, you're just gonna be surrounded by a bunch of fake people or people that are not exactly what you want to be or what you are. And like, if you really are true to yourself, then those type of people are gonna flock to you. And you're
Right.
gonna find those people, and it'll help build and foster your tribe, for sure.
Right. 100%. So connection's big in all aspects. And for y'all connected right now, no, Josh, I'm not high. It's fucked up you even asked that. It's crazy. Rob, this shit's not funny.
What did he say?
He just said LOL. And that's that. That's what that is.
And so, with that being said, too, is like not being scared to talk to people. I don't know how many people got jobs in sales or whatever where you have to interact with people, but interaction and networking is one of the best things that you can do, because they say it doesn't matter how good you are, it matters who you know. Like, well, no, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters who you know. And even better, I always add this, even better, who knows you? Who knows you? Who's heard about you?
Right.
How has your name gotten out there in a good way, to help push you along and get your name into some other conversations? And you never know where that's going to take you. That's one of the biggest things I took away from working at Rev'd, this fitness company here in Tulsa, is the networking. When I was on the Brookside, I got to meet a lot of people, and I think that those relationships have blossomed into a lot of cool things, and I appreciate that, and I'm gonna keep. It's my support system. It's people that have my back and people that want me to succeed. So, man, networking is dope. You get into a bunch of different things,
Right.
no matter what it may be. Like, it may just give you the opportunity that you've been looking
It's
for.
the biggest thing. It presents opportunities that you didn't know you had. And that's huge. So with that, you mentioned fear of talking to people. Where do you think that kind of like anxiety comes from?
I don't know, because I'm not really the one that's usually scared to talk to people. But it could come from, it start when you're a kid, man. Everything starts when you're a kid. Maybe you were just sheltered too much and your parents didn't want you talking to a bunch of strangers, or maybe you were just got rejected a lot, or whatever it may be. Man, rejection is usually number one fear. That's why a lot of guys don't go up to girls that they find attractive, like scared of getting rejected. Hey, bro, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Facts. So what's your advice to those that have this fear of rejection? How do you surpass that?
How do I get past the fear of rejection? I don't know. I hate getting rejected too. I still got that fear.
How do you deal with that? You personally, what's your advice to the people that, do have that anxiety on getting rejected, or, are kind of like sheltered when it comes to meeting new people and talking to new people?
They say that you don't really truly make change until you've like had enough. Until you've like hit this point of like, I don't care anymore. And that's kind of like the attitude that you got to go in. The mindset that you have to have is like, look, you got this one life. You don't know if you'll die tomorrow, the next second, whatever. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what life's going to throw at you. And if you're into something, then you might as well take a chance. Like, there's no point in not taking an opportunity. Like, don't live not knowing what if you tried. If you gave your effort, you don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but at least you tried. If you don't try, it's never gonna happen. So, yeah, man, you just gotta, enough is enough. Take control of your life and be like, all right, well, this is what I actually want. So try to make it happen. Try. Effort is sexy. Remember that.
Effort is sexy. Words to the wise right there. Effort is sexy. If you ever feel some type of way, just remember that. Real shit.
You don't like it. You don't like the advice.
It's good, bro. Put on a t-shirt.
Effort is, yeah.
Put
Hey,
on a
TM,
t-shirt.
don't take that.
Nah, it's too late. Too late for the one person listening right now. It's too late.
But for real though, yeah, that's my advice. Is at least give it a shot, man.
Right.
Like
You never know.
you can't be
You
scared.
never know.
Can't be scared your whole life. I
Right.
used to hear that a lot growing up.
Like, you never know what the answer's going to be. And if you assume the answer's going to be no, it's always going to be no. Right? So you always got to ask.
I mean, if you assume and don't do anything, it's always no.
All right.
But if you assume and you still ask, it could be a yes. Because you asked. Just ask. Just do it.
Just fucking
Dude,
do it.
Nike has the best slogan ever.
Simple.
Ever.
Simple
Just
to
do
the
it.
point.
Like, that is the best thing. Take action. take massive action. That's how anything in life gets done. Like, somebody sees it, somebody believes it, they think it, and then they do it. They don't just sit here in their head. They do it. They move forward. They take the action. That's it. That's a wrap.
Because worst case, if it doesn't go through, you can always come back to it, or you learn something from it, and then you move on from that point. You know,
whatever Thomas Edison said, the thief, man. How many times he tried the light bulb, but he said, I just learned 1,000 ways not to do it. And then that's cool, man. You troubleshoot, try it again, plug it in, change the wires, and you figure it out.
Right.
So,
different approach every time until it works. Like, fucking guys having a field day with this. But yeah, you never know till it works, right? Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest thing, connection. Like the people on here making jokes, I connect with all those guys, and I love them. I love them for it. I love even though they're just clowning right now, like that's just the connection we had.
Jump in the conversation.
All
what
fun.
do y'all think about connection?
All fun, all good beans. But yeah, I mean that's open mind and like don't be afraid to really embrace who you are. Like I feel like a majority of my life, if not all my life, I've always been true to myself, and I've always done things that I wanted to do. For myself, you know, I've always tried to do what's best in that scenario, and you know, I've always also helped others when I needed to help, like be there for them, and that's because of the connection I have. That's how I portrayed myself as being like a, I guess, open person, caring person, genuine person, like just being there as a supportive person in many aspects, and I think that's where a lot of my connections are made, because aside from the sarcasm, when I am being a dickhead, or I am actually like, you know, just talking my shit, like I'm actually make genuine connections based off the authenticity of who I am, and like my life experiences and what I have to, you know, kind of relate with others in a lot of areas. Mm-hmm. And if anything, like I'm always down to listen. Like everybody has a story, and like I'm always down to hear a story, because like we all have something, right?
And it might help you.
Right?
Your story might be the answer for somebody else. Like
right.
it might help somebody else figure something out. It might help somebody else feel better about something. I had a friend here, Imani, and she told me she's like, man, I've known you for like 2 years and I still feel like I don't know you. She's like, you need to be more vulnerable. And I feel like that's being more of yourself. Like that's being more authentic, being more real. Like, yes, you can pick and choose who you do that with and how open you get with certain people and, like, how vulnerable you are. But, like, that's showing your authentic self and expressing yourself and letting yourself be known and connect with other people. Like, people have their guard up if they sense that there's a hesitation. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. But there's always that initial wall and barrier, you know? Like, you don't want to give yourself to just anybody. You want to just throw all your shit out there. Be like, hey, nice to meet you. By the way, boom, this is all of me. Like, you don't want that shit. But it's just, like, picking the right people, like you said, because there's certain people that don't really need to hear all that. And there's certain people that, you know, you'll be more comfortable with opening up with. And, like, they'll have more for you than just the average person. Just like, hey, here's my story. They'll be like, all right, cool. Who are you? And like, what's that help? You're like, well, I just told you me, and then what do you got for me? Like, it's never that. Like, it should never be, well, I told you this, what do you got for me?
Uh-huh.
Like, it never should be that. But I mean, I just think we should be more open and connected with other people. Like, it's just big. Like, connection's huge, especially in this world. We're in a networking world. Like you said, we have technology, which makes connecting easier, especially in a wider range. But you know, we gotta step away from like the comparison stuff, and I think that's really judgmental, however you want to say it, word it, but like that's like the negative side of all this, and it's not to be real. We're trying to be authentic out here. We're trying to be real. Be real. Be yourself, because like they say, like a wise man once said, life's only one take, so be real, because there is no be real. I don't know who the fuck said that, but quote unknown.
It sticks though.
But it's like,
break it down.
Crazy.
The play on word is crazy.
Wordplay stupid.
Yo, say Coop real quick for Kimberly Kite. They said what?
Nah, can't do that.
Oh, that was funny.
Can't do that.
Oh, you just had something that you were talking about that I was gonna piggyback off of. I forget it. I lost it.
What was it? What you got, bro?
I don't know. It's getting kind of late.
All right. You want to wrap this guy up? First IG live.
Yeah, man.
First IG live.
Signing out of that.
Hey, this shit crazy. All right. Till next time, IG.